host, Scotty B. We're coming back this week, friends. Thanks so much for being here this season. And we are trying something a little bit Stranger Things because that is the season. And we're getting into the spooky time of the year, which is fantastic. I do have a wonderful guest back on the show today. Anthony Cosjitsu is here, and we are going to talk. Well, first of all, hey Anthony, how you doing?
Oh, hey, how you doing, Scott? Yeah, that's
Um,
usually nice
I'm
to start with.
yeah, I guess I'm in rare form today. I know
Yeah.
we usually like I am so used to doing everything very structured and organized, and I usually have like all my notes and everything's planned out, but we've done enough shows together where it's getting a little bit like the Tonight Show, and I feel a lot more comfortable having you on.
Oh yeah.
I do make an okay wingman.
Oh,
So
you're a great
I
leader.
can be the Ed McMahon to your Johnny Carson
Oh, let's
today.
do
I
it.
will try. I'll just I think you just have to agree a lot and say yes very loudly, and then you'll be Ed
Yes.
McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
got COVID not too long ago.
Oh no.
I felt bad that La Knight was out with
The
La
night.
COVID, and
Oh no.
yeah,
That's not good. Hey, but no,
yeah,
man, it's good to it's good to see you. This was a quick turnaround for us than normal, and it was because we were both talking about for the longest time wanting to do like more consistent shows and talk about topics and and like you said we've done so many shows to the point where we got comfortable and I could just throw up a topic and we can talk and yeah and it's amazing from the last show that we were able to come up with the topic we have today, so I'm
yeah.
I'm excited as well.
No, I think this is a really good one to talk about. I think that there's a lot of interest, and you have a lot of information and experience under your belt about this particular topic and getting into photography. I've had a couple of photographers on the show before. I have talked about photo shoots, but I think that the level of detail and the kinds of shoots that you have worked in specifically is not something that every cosplayer has done, and I think that there's just a lot to be learned from you sharing what you know about how these group shoots and some of these more complicated but really it's a build. I mean,
Yeah. Oh
it's a
yeah.
little bit like I did have some folks from a court of salt and snow on the show a while ago, and they had some similar thoughts and things, and man, there is so much that goes into this. Like we barely scratched the surface on that episode or those episodes
Oh, I bet.
from a while back, but we'll love to get into this with you today, sir. Super just interesting. So much going into it, so much to discuss. I'm sure I will have questions as we go, and I will really just turn this. I'm just going to turn this over to you and let you kind of tell
Okay.
this story, weave this tale of how these things can work. If you have examples, if you have for instance that came up recently, would love to hear about it. I'm sure you do. I just scrolling through, I know like you always have just fantastic things coming up always. I know
Fantastic.
we'll have like a New York Comic-Con episode coming up, maybe in a little bit. If
I'm down for that after NYCC. Let's do it. Hey,
yeah,
here's the next plan. There we go.
yeah, and I know we have more topics for the future, but yeah, definitely just tell us all the things. Tell us about your experiences here with photo shoots.
Yeah, so I mean, I was like every other cosplayer where like, you just kind of come in and you want to have fun, you want to hang out with everyone and show off the cosplays and and have the party after and show all your groups and everything and whatnot and um but yeah, but sooner or later, you learn about how the photography works if you have the right friends in there. I mean, off the bat, I knew the right people, so I was exposed to certain types of I was actually exposed to certain types of photo shoots early on when I started cosplaying. So I've told the story where like I got into cosplay from my cousin. I'm a cosplayer, so
Yes, also an alumni of the
Oh yeah,
show.
oh yeah, she's got to come back on.
Oh,
And
I'd love that.
yeah,
She's super fun to talk to.
oh yeah, and um yeah, so so that was so I don't know if that's the reason why I do those type of shoots, but like I was exposed to like, and it was anime early on, and everyone knows I started off with anime and I kind of branched out from there, but it was this thing of like taking scenes from shows and getting the characters and just getting the scenes right, getting the photographer who can get those scenes right, and you kind of just match it up with the scenes in the show. So I was exposed to that first. For a lot of people who cosplay, they put their cosplay together. They hire a photographer. They want this and that photo, and they got the poses down. They're working for the photographer for maybe an hour. It's really simple. You just pay it for yourself, time, whether it's a con, whether it's a location, whether you're going to a studio. Easy.
Straightforward.
Very straightforward. But the more people you add on, the more, the more I guess what's the best way to put it? Like, I guess not that it's more difficult, but like there is a lot more to keep track of, because you do have to, obviously,
It's a
like,
lot of logistics
yeah, there's a lot of
after a little while. Yeah,
there's a
like
lot of,
who's doing what, how to be efficient.
and
Yeah.
that's mainly what it is, because like whether it's a, whether you're doing a solo shoot, a shoot with you and a friend, or a shoot with a small group of 5 or a big group of 10, the same thing is always going to happen when it comes to, who you're going to hire, what you envision, the cost, and if you want to go on location or all in a studio. That's pretty consistent through all the photo shoots. What adds on to it is coordinating with all the people that you have in your shoots, because I've for the most part, like, people will see, for the most part, I'm not like, yeah, I've gotten my solo shots here and there, but people will see like I'd like to put some sort of groups together. That's why that's my way of getting photos. Like I said, like I'll shoot with, very well-known or local photographers that I know, or I'll hire them at a con, whether Liza and I are at a con and we'll have one of the photographer friends we know shoot us, or or we just we ask someone, or there's photographers passing by at cons that we're always willing to take photos for free. So, but that's convention shooting. But when it comes to the big I know I'm going all over the place right now.
No, that's what we but that I think is apropos of how these shoots can go.
Yeah.
Because they do kind of go all over the place, and
they do go
have
over
to
the place.
wrangle. I think you bring a lot, pardon the Star Wars reference, but is it a Star Wars reference? Maybe it is. You bring order to chaos. No, that's a Star Trek reference. I'm sorry.
You're confused.
The Borg Queen said that. She brings order to chaos. Not to compare you to her, but that cosplayers can be very much like they can wander all over the place. A lot of things can get very disorganized very quickly if you don't have someone kind of like going, okay, here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. So I fit in. So I guess that's what makes me to fit into cosplay real well. Oh yeah, I know what I want to say. But with all this that happens, you kind of just don't like join into cosplay, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, like, I can put this whole group together and do it by myself, and I know how to handle this. And then there's people that also, join in on groups, and they're like, oh, everyone must have just showed up and that was it. It's like, no, it took like a lot of coordination, like, and
hard.
Because let me tell you something, like, the more people you have, the harder it is to get a date. I will say that to set a date and to get everyone on the same location and to get everyone to agree on the same price. And nowadays, as adults, especially the older we are, the more we're working, and maybe the more we're towards work in life, and the further we are away from school, we're gonna have busier lives. And then
I literally have nothing but time. but I don't have enough resources to just throw out a lot of photo shoots.
Well,
That's
well,
the
here's the
it's like
thing. People got
so
family.
expensive.
Yeah, of course. And but people got families or kids, or people got other hobbies, you know what I mean? Like for some people it's not just cosplay, it's they want to go do something with their friends, or they're trying to work on their house, or they need to spend time with their significant other, or what have you.
Normal human things. Yeah,
Normally,
I mean, well,
right?
and people forget like cosplay is a hobby, and generally hobbies take it's like last place, um, unless you're
Yeah,
crazy about your hot and you can be, that's fine too because it is a
yeah,
fandom. Sometimes it's at the top of the list, but
yeah.
very often it's like yeah, like my kids and my family and my friends and I'm sorry, I'll let me back up, my non-cosplay friends, my they don't
Yeah,
understand
right.
why I'm crazy about this stuff. They don't like
Oh yeah.
they're like you're like, even like trying to explain this to like family members. Like I can't imagine like trying to explain to my mom like yeah I can't do anything this weekend. I've gotta dress up like Captain America and get a photo
uh,
shoot.
yeah, I've
Sorry.
unfortunately I've been in those positions where it's like they were just certain, maybe it wasn't directly a convention, but if it was cosplay related and I missed out on some things, or looking back, I'm like, should have just, it was just for fun. There were more of those coming. I'm glad I found a better balance, but I'm glad you point that out, because besides all the, family and friends and all that important stuff, or if you have kids, once you get to the hobbies, is cosplay your number one hobby? Because for me, and I'll be honest right now, like I love cosplay, and like I know I have a cosplay page, like I know I have, well, my Instagram, I don't really like to call it my cosplay page. I like to call it my page of like interests, I guess. It's just
Hmm.
obviously mainly the main content I have there, but it's not like I don't have any other social media, and I don't have like any other private life or anything like that, like.
Well, and it is Cosjitsu. So you are a practicing martial artist.
Yeah, practice. Yeah, and
There, this takes time as well.
in a
I
lot
do
of
know.
ways, yeah, and in a lot of ways, like I'll give up cosplay before I give up martial arts. I'm sorry, like I love cosplay, but like there's cosplay is, in certain aspects of my life, has really helped my life, but Brazilian jiu-jitsu like tenfold. So
Oh
like
yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't, and then like I've always been a sports head my whole life, so like that's another big interest of mine, that I tend to talk, like, when I'm off and away from the cos friends, like I have other friends, or maybe even some cosplay friends. There are, like a lot of cosplay friends are not just nerds too. A lot of us like to do martial arts, and some of us like to also work out too, and like sports, and all these things as well. So, like some of us have, like I said, some of us have other hobbies that,
Well, yeah, I understand
yeah,
that. Yeah, I
you
mean, I've
know,
been I've been in a fantasy football league since 2005.
yeah, you talked about
So
this.
yeah, I mean, and I do a video for them every year.
Yeah.
It's me and my friends from when we were like, I know some of these guys since kindergarten.
I did
So
fantasy football like a long time ago, and I love and I respect the fantasy football. I had to force myself to try to stop, because it consumes
it
so
takes up a
much of
lot
your.
of time.
It takes up a lot of time. You get
Hmm.
worried about it. You get worried about trading players, or if you're going to put a player in or not. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just like early retire on this, because it's driving me up a wall right now, And I couldn't find a way to balance it, because it's like you get competitive with your friends, and anytime I get competitive in anything, my close friends know this, and my girlfriend knows about this. Shout out to Liza, love you. And we got to get her on this show too. We're definitely gonna
Liza Cosplay, everybody, please
get
follow,
on.
like, and support
We are recruiting you.
Liza
All right. Anyway,
when she's ready.
yeah, yeah,
There's still 2 more seasons left in the gas tank. So
yeah.
and
No,
then
yeah,
and
we
then I
got it.
turn it all over to my co-host.
But yeah, no, back to the shoot. So I guess I'll try to like break down the process a little bit, because I know I kind of gave like a little summary of like what it entails with the locations and photography and whatnot. But and look, like I was saying before I again got sidetracked. No one just starts off doing these things. I mean, obviously you start off with a shoot, you either do it with your friends, or you help out your friends and whatnot, or you do a shoot, you observe how it's done, and then you do it yourself. And the more people you have, like, don't be afraid to ask for help, as long as it's reliable friends for help. I really do stress that. Because, you know, like, look, if it's you and three friends, I'm sure the four of you could just, you know, come together and be like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, blah blah blah. But I've hosted my own and helped out with shoots that contained, you know, 6, 7, 8, 10, 13 people, 14 people. So um it becomes a lot. And like I was saying before, you gotta have you gotta have everyone committed and on the same page, because I'm gonna tell you something, like, no matter what, no matter what group of people you get, you're gonna have, from, you know, if you have 10 people, from the one to the last, you're gonna have the one person there or the couple of people there that really busted their ass and got their cosplay done ahead of time, and, you know, they're really raring to go. You got people that are like, yeah, I'm excited for it, and then you have other people that are like, you know, they're like, oh, it's just cosplay, man, like, I'm, you know, I'm sure I can back out last minute or whatever. And it's like, no, you can't. I mean, like, you're not gonna get arrested, like, you know, like, no, we're not gonna fine you or anything like that, but, like, you know, good luck having people, you know, wanting to shoot with you in the future. I know so many people that are super talented, but the reliability is like, oh my
Zero.
God, like,
Yeah.
it's like, that's just wasted talent. Like, come on. And then I and then I know, and then, you know, then there's people that, you know, they're okay, but they're like super reliable, which is great because you have someone super reliable. But if you're looking for, you know, a more canonized project, you know, it's, you know, you know, so I try to find, you know, not that I'm looking for this, but when you have like the good balance of someone who's very talented and also has like very good reliability to the best of their ability, you know, they can get around work or family or anything else, you know, that's someone you want to have on your team. You know, for whoever's listening right now, like, those are the type of people you want. Get people, you know. Don't be like, oh, like, you know, I've been a fan of this person for so long. It's like, and then he backs out and doesn't show up, and then you're like, oh, well, I didn't really know him that well. And it's like, oh, I think we figured out who's responsible for this. Like, you know, like when someone when you can blame them all you want, and you can, here's another thing, as a leader of a group, you can blame the person all you want, and like, you can get mad at them, and you have every right to get mad at them, but like, at the end of the day, it's your shoot, you're the leader, and the responsibility falls on you. And if it's a shoot you want to do, you don't want to come to that point where you have to cancel like last minute, or and then scramble to find another cosplayer, and, you know, oh boy,
It gets
sorry,
very messy. Yes, it can be.
yeah,
It can
and
be
scramble,
just like you don't have enough time. You
yeah,
know, you have to reschedule the whole thing. Yeah.
and then what are you gonna do? Everyone rushed to get their cosplay done for this moment, and if you don't have all your people, and, you know, and if it's a shoot, because I've been a part of many of these shoots, and I've hosted many of these shoots, and I've helped assisted with many of these shoots. If one person like says they can't make the date, or their cosplay is not ready,
Mhm.
or we all got to move the date, we all got to move the date up, like, you know. So because I've done, you know, I've hosted Pain, where I needed all 6 paths. I did 7 Deadly Sins, where I needed all the 7 Deadly Sins.
Such
I've
a
been a
good
part
shoot.
of been a yeah. I've been a part of the Gote 13 captains. You needed all 13 captains for that shoot. Um the Espada shoot with, you know, we had other Bleach characters on the side, but the 9 or 10 Espada, you know, we needed those Espada to be there, or again, you know, we couldn't do the shoot. So
Mhm.
um but yeah, but back to what I was saying before, about people you should learn from, learn from a friend, like, learn from the experience, you know, and get people to help, you know, in the beginning, like, you know, there was people that, you know, some people I still have communication with, some people that I don't, you know, that I learned how to, you know, how to put the shoots together. So, and because, you know, I've done, you've seen my Akatsuki, you've seen our Akatsuki shoot, Naruto.
Yep.
You've seen the first Bleach shoot that we did the end of 2020. My friend Big Fella Cause, he's hosted, we've done three bleach shoots already that I've assisted on. So, you know, getting the photog, the location, making sure everyone's up with their cosplays. Um, you know, it took a lot of that. I learned about locations, especially about locations doing that shoot and getting the right photographer. And you know, you got to collect the money from everyone. It's like it's a whole big to do. And sometimes, you know, sometimes you're hosting a shoot and you find yourself in a position where people aren't willing to pay a certain price. So you better be ready to like drop money on certain things, whether it's part of the photography cost,
Oh,
or
yes,
you're
exactly.
covering the location price too. Because you know, one of my, you know, with big fella doing bleach, he, you know, he wanted those locations and he wanted these shoots to happen. So you know, he stepped it up and put forward what had to be
Wow.
done to make sure these shoots happen. So
Yeah, my advice for any of that would be the people that you're working with, like make sure you get all of that figured out like up front. Like before you jump in to the shoot and have the date and have the book people to do things, like make sure that everybody, it's almost like think of how it goes in like an elementary school.
yeah,
Like you gotta take your permission slip home, get your parents to sign it. You're gonna bring a check back, bring it to the teacher. We're gonna write your name down, okay, and then we'll send you all the information, the instructions. Like
yeah.
bam, you have to read it. So yeah, just make sure you're very prepared.
Of
Um,
course, and I can give you and I can give you an example from, you know, because I've told you about the bleach shoes I've done. I've told you about with Naruto and all my regular shoots. So like with the ones that I've actually done personally, to give you like a little insight from where from, you know, with pain and sins and all that. Um, what's it called? Pain was kind of like I did learn a big lesson because I was like the first one. By the way, can you hear? Is my AC too loud? Do you hear like a
nope.
vibrating sound? Or you sure? Okay.
Yeah, mine kicks on too, and
Yeah.
I always think it's gonna be like horribly bad, but my filters actually get rid of all of that. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. So yeah, so with pain, so let me lay this out. And these obviously aren't my most recent shoots, but these are the most recent shoots that I had hosted. And these were done back in 2022. So Sins was done in July of 2022, and then I had the Six Paths of Pain October of 2022. Um, and what's funny is I started, so when that Akatsuki shoot happened in early 2020, they were always saying to me, because I was Pain, because I was leader of the Akatsuki of the whole shoot. This is Naruto for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about. And they were all, you know, they were always talking about like, oh, you know, there's the whole Six Paths of Pain. It's more than, well, I mean, at this point I was up to speed on Naruto. Little known fact, I speed watched Naruto like up until the point like I got a good amount in like by the time the pain shoot happened, but I had not watched Naruto like before I was asked to do this, and I that's another thing. I'm good for doing my homework, so I watched the series in its entirety or almost of its entirety by the time the shoot came around.
It can be very helpful. It can be helpful with
Very helpful.
positioning, with the
Very.
characterization,
Let's fucking stop.
posing, lots of different things.
I'm
Lots of
right here.
different things.
Sorry. That was scrambling my brain a bit. Sorry.
Oh, no
Uh,
worries.
the noise was throwing me off.
Hmm.
But yeah. So it's obviously presented to me, and I was thinking about it. I'd be like, oh, that'd be cool to like get all six paths. But then I'm thinking to myself, like, because my pain is the main path. The other five, they're in the show, but they're not like the known. They're not like the main path, and like you almost never see anyone you almost never see anyone do that.
Hmm.
But I did know I did know one person who did another path of pain in the community. One of our friends. Her Instagram is not up now. It's Cosplay Mars, a friend of Liza and I. She had done Animal Path. Um, she had done Animal Path, which one of the other paths of pain, probably like the second most popular path of pain. So it was easy to get her in initially, and then in the beginning I had also Kuya 1236, my friend Reggie. He was also a part of that original team that I recruited. So shout out to them. Yeah, and then you know the obviously the group we had when we shot was obviously a lot of a lot of changing had to happen. But I think like around like September that year, I had put out like a post saying I wanted pets. And then by the end of the year, I was able to get everyone. And then I'm going to tell you something. I scheduled the shoot about 6 or 7 times or something like that. Like early on, like the first shoot was supposed to happen earlier on in 2021. And it was like, and as you get closer to the date, I had people being like, oh, like, I don't like this location, blah, blah, blah. We should all agree together on one location. I'm like, oh my God, this is not good. Like, we should all agree together. And like, I was kind of like, okay, like it's my shoot. I kind of have like a vision for this. It's like, maybe we can agree on this, maybe we can agree on that. So like I postponed it and then, you know, like, and try to push it again, and it didn't happen because of whatever reasons. And then, you know, then someone getting COVID and someone getting, oh dude, like there was a lot of things that got in the way, and someone had work, and then someone, there was this and that. And
Oh, there are a lot of things that just come up
and it just,
randomly with
yeah,
especially when you have a big group. It's like, oh, yep,
yeah,
this person's sick, and then
yeah,
like all of these things. There's weddings, there's family
exactly,
gatherings, there's it's just it,
exactly,
and then
yeah,
everybody gets a little bit tired and discouraged
yeah,
because things have been dragging on and on and on a little bit, and then they're like, I'm not sure if I don't know if I can do it now, and that's when it's like, oh, and that can kill everything off pretty quickly.
exactly. And then we're getting into like 2022, and it's like now I want to plan the Seven Deadly Sins shoot, and I'm gathering those group of people together. And then like when I gathered that group together, it taught me a lesson from what I had to deal with trying to put I'm sorry, the sorry, I got scrambled up. Me when I put the Sins group together, it helped me from what happened with Pain, it helped me do Sins a lot better. And also around that time, with what I was doing with Sins, all of that kind of coincided at the same time, and I kind of had things going right. But when I initially put it Sins together, because lo and behold, I was trying to put Pain together for so long, but Sins happened first because it was easier to get the characters. This is what I did, and I advise everyone else to do this too. Like, this is your location. This is how it's going to happen. These are the photographers you're going to want. And if the people joining your group don't abide by what you want, then they don't be a part of it. Like this ain't no, like this, like, we ain't like, I'm not trying to be political, but it's like, we ain't comrades, and we ain't equally going to agree like on what we're going to do. Because what's going to happen? Then we're almost going to never agree. We're never going to come to a point where we agree. Okay. Like, you have a representative, everyone gives their thoughts and ideas. And, like me, it's my vision. I want to put this shoot together. It doesn't mean I'm selfish. It doesn't mean I'm not catering to what everyone else wants, because I do still cater. But if you interfere with the main the meat and potatoes of what I want to do with the shoot, then I'll find someone else. I can't stress that enough. I know that's harsh for people to hear, but you have to do it like that, or you're not going to get your shoots done.
I think I mean I understand where you're coming from, because you're putting everything together. I mean, it's not like you're coming into somebody else's shoot and you always have to be in charge of everything that's going on. Yeah. It's just, this is my idea. Here's what I'm bringing. Like, if you're down with it, great. Let's do it together. But you want to extend the same courtesy that you would if you were on somebody else's shoot. So if somebody comes to you and says, hey, here's what I'm going to do, you're either going to be like, cool, I'm all for that. And then it becomes more of a give situation than a take situation, where you're part of the shoot and you're kind of concede to what that person wants. You're not going to try and like quarterback the whole thing for them.
And that's why I tell people, like, get like people, or people that, or at the very least, people that at least when you first talk to them within the first 5 minutes, they are good to comply with what you want. Because like, if it's like, and that boils, and that's basically you need someone to like show you a little bit of respect, like, and acknowledge that, you're the authority figure here. It's like, okay, like, I'm not the boss of you, obviously. You can walk away and do whatever you want. There's no salary here, but like, for the sake of, being a team player and getting the shoot together. Because when I join in people's shoots, like, I ain't asking to be like, like I know, like in almost every single one of my shoots, it may seem like, oh, Anthony wants to be like the one in charge. No, I've been asked for these roles. So like, or it just happened that I chose this character and it just kind of, it
Hmm.
just fell in place. But like, whatever character, whatever character I choose to be or I'm asked to be or anything like that, I fall in line. I fall in line with that role. If I'm not the leader, I know I'm not the leader. If I'm the leader of the squad, then I bring the attitude that I am the leader of the squad for the sake of bringing the vibes of the shoot. That's another thing too. Like, you know, play the character too. In the now I'm talking about specifics when it comes to shooting, but and also when you join in on a shoot, if someone asks you to be a character, do not feel pressured to be this character because someone asks you. And for the love of God, do not be the character because you want to be a part of a big group shoot. Because me and well, maybe not some other people, but at least with me and some friends of mine,
Hmm.
we're gonna know like if you're like we're gonna know right off the bat like if you're a fan of this cosplay or not. And like look, if you're not and like you still know how to sell it and you did a little bit of research and everything, like good, like that I respect that, you know what I mean? But you know, come for the person being a part of the shoot, come prepared.
Yep. And I mean, this happens in theater too, because some people don't like to get dumped in company.
Yeah,
If they came to an audition and they wanted some sort of principal role and then they don't get that and they get dumped in company, they might take it, but you can't always rely on them because they will complain about every single thing that the person who did get the role that they wanted is doing. And this can happen in cosplay too, because maybe you got two people who want the same, they
that's
want
a
to do the
big thing.
same thing.
Humility.
And yeah, you got to be a bit humble. You're
That's a
like,
that's a
nope, you're
that's a
not going to
big
do that one this time. So
that's a big thing. A lot of people in this community, there's a lot of ego. A lot of people lack humility. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good people, but there's elitist mentalities. There's I deserve to be on this mentality. Not that I deserve to be on this mentality, but like they have a mentality of like I deserve this or that, or if someone was behaving a certain way or made a certain decision, like all of a sudden like they have something against you. It's like I don't. It's like if that's your train of thought, like I don't want you to be a part of whatever I'm doing because all you're gonna do is just you're just gonna. But we'll save that for we'll save that
oh yes,
for
we have the dark side of cosplay
yeah
episode down the road at some point to talk
yeah
about
we'll,
some
we'll
of these dicey things. Today is more really just like, I
yeah.
mean, these sort of things will come up in a photo shoot, of course. There are some politics. Navigating that is really the key. And like you said, like you got to work with your crew. And a lot of the stuff that I do behind the scenes too, like I've found people who are great to work with, you know,
Behind the
Anthony
scenes.
included. You're a good worker. You do amazing things. I
That,
love having you on the show.
I
And
appreciate that.
I'm really happy that we show up for each other. Like this is a good thing. Maybe I'm not so great at cosplay shoots. Still to be determined. But yeah.
I appreciate that. And speaking of behind the scenes, I've been a part of a lot. I've been a part of a lot of that. Oh, let me go back and finish out with what I was saying before. I applied all that to Shoot, and then also by the time my six pads rolled around, that was also to be even more, in my opinion, just like one of my most successful shoots that I put together. And another thing is I had very close friends and reliable people. So I really stress having that. But the behind the scenes part, not only with that, but with now I'm going to go into something where it becomes even bigger groups and it starts to get a little more like, especially if you like want to start traveling locations and get certain photographers and or even maybe pay for a place that you want to use as well. So like I said before, when it comes to when it comes to regular photography, it's pretty I'm sorry, when it's by yourself or with
Mhm.
your friend or two, it's pretty straightforward with what you want to do. But now when it comes to say you have 10 or more people or anything like that, it starts to get a little more dicey. And you've seen me do that a lot with a lot of the bleach shoots, like I just mentioned before.
Yeah,
And
it's like
also
production.
and also in between that, Demon Slayer shoots as well. My friend Kuya Reggie, with the Demon Slayer shoots, though, you know, those consisted. Oh, what am I saying? Those consisted of like 20 people at one point, even bigger.
Huge.
Yeah, huge shoots. So like the common theme for sure when it comes to a lot of the shoots I did when it was like 13 to 20 people. Now you have other people that you're going to need to start helping you as well. So we, you know, for Bleach, we had like a whole planning team with, you know, 12 or 13 captains where we had. When it came to the Demon Slayer stuff, Reggie had, you know, a couple of us helping him as well, doing stuff like that. So I can give you an example of some ways in which I was helping as well. One being like one Lightbenders event a couple of years ago where, and that was our first big, shout out to the KamitsuCon family, by the way, all of us who have our Demon Slayer shoots. Too many to name. And I mentioned to this before the show, and unfortunately we're hurting a little bit because we lost a friend of ours who is a Demon Slayer cosplayer. So, you know, rest in peace, Aki, you know. So Prince Bastard on Instagram. So just wanted to drop that.
Yeah, it's just a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah. But you know, and he was a part of that shoot too. So, but my role, and I was given the title of assisting engineer. This was big because we had this was a shoot where we needed to have 2 photographers. You know, you had 18 to 20 people here, so it's like, and you only had maybe like 3 or 4 hours to go, which is a lot of time. But when you want to get all the content you want to get, that's another thing too. Have your content written out, laid out, and talk to the photographers beforehand of what you want, so they're not scrambling at that minute, be like, oh, I need this lens for this, or I need this lighting for that, or blah blah blah. It's like, we know what to do, you know. When we had that shoot, you know, we had like we had 2 photographers who had their own side, and I had a sheet of paper in front of me with the cosplayers and their character. It's like, all right, next, who's going to this guy, or who's going to this guy, you know, like, all right, this cosplayer's done, you go here, and then all the solos are done. It's like, okay, we're doing this group shot now, that group shot now. So
almost like a wedding.
Yeah, almost like a wedding. And I was almost like the wedding planner, like doing that there. So I wasn't in cosplay for that one. I was almost like the wedding planner. And beforehand, you know, it's all of us getting on video chat with the photographer saying, we want to do this, we want to do that, and then collecting the money from everyone and making sure everyone pays on time. And you know, being like, hey, like, you know, is everyone close to having their cosplays done? This, and that. Like, you sure you're good with this cosplay? Oh, you can't do this. You want to do this character now? Okay, switch with this person. And there's probably so many things that I can't even think of right now that's also involved. So for anyone thinks you just showed up to something that, oh, everyone just had chemistry. It's like, no. And it's great if you have chemistry, but without the coordination, you know, you're still going to have a lot of mess ups.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
So that was an example of doing that. And then, you know, when it came to Bleach and the captives, it wasn't that, you know, it wasn't to that degree with what I did with Demon Slayer, but with Bleach, you know, the first one we had on location, we had to make sure we had all the captains. And let me tell you something about that first Bleach shoot. We had to, let me tell you something about another example of long planning. That idea was brought up. Johnny brought up that idea December 2020, and we got the shoot done. No, I'm sorry, December 2019, and the shoot did not actually happen until like September 2020. And the 13 captains we had lined up, 7 of them had to be replaced before we actually, so more than half the group had to be replaced before we actually got the shoot done. So if that doesn't tell you anything, that's just another thing.
It can take ages and ages to get.
That's just another thing that's added on top of it, you know, as well. And then, you know, let's fast forward even more. Like when we did the 2 Bleach shoots. Oh, but and I just did 2 Bleach shoots this year as well. So it's crazy. When we did the Espada shoot, it's like, now you got to reserve. Now we're reserving a studio that has a certain aesthetic, so we can fit the scene, so we could, you know. And then it's like, it's reserving the room. It's like, who's down to put up money for the room? Is anyone actually going to put up money for the room, or does my friend have to do it all himself? And it's just all these things, and like, trying to get people to throw in so it's easier. And again, getting a photographer and a second photographer who does something else, and then getting the video for the music video we wanted to do with the walkout when the doors open. I don't know if you saw that video, but we were all walking out and everything. Like that in alone was a project in itself. So because now you're getting it on video, you're getting the position, you're getting the different angles, and then the editing process. Who's walking out? Like, where's the camera? Like, how is this walkout going to take place? Like, and it's just, and then with this latest Gote 13 shoot, what made this one different is we needed a Japanese garden for the aesthetic of this shoot. Not just having the 12 of us down there, but we needed a Japanese garden, and this was down in Philadelphia. So now this shoot consists of finding a couple of photographers, because you have 12 of us, so you need a backup photographer as well. Coordinate with the main photographer, tell him the composites we want, the whole lined up group shot that we want, making sure everyone has a ride down to this place and that they show up that day, and then also making sure everyone pays. And then also, again, if you're picking a location that's paid for, again, another thing that has to be paid for and worked out. And then to make it worse, now you're on a clock, because now you're on a schedule to shoot in between a 2-hour window, and you got to get all those shots in, or that's it. You spent your money for nothing. So
yep. There's so much that goes into the timing, and you can go over, like, your budget can get busted in a hurry if you ever have to like reschedule a date. It's painful.
Oh, we needed everyone to show up that day. There was no messing around. And even for that shoot, there was a bunch of captains that,
or when you get people who, like, they don't show up on time, and then you run out of time, and then they're like, oh, well, we can just show up another day, right? And you're like,
oh my God,
we can't. That is
wasn't really good. I had to deal with that. It wasn't good. But yeah, I mean, that's and look, those are the kind of shoots that I went through. Most of the time when people put shoots together, and also I know I referenced a lot of like anime shoots and stuff like that. Obviously, we've seen my Star Wars stuff. The stuff that Liza and I have shot together. Other fandoms like Castlevania, and obviously the Marvel stuff we have up, the stuff that we do in my New York Avengers. Shout out New York Avengers Inc. We just became a charity officially.
Oh,
as of I think last month or something like that. We just became a charity. So shout out to our leader Samson Dula, who you're also
she's gonna be here. She'll be here next week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We
might have to talk about the charities.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, definitely for sure. Yeah, so you got and I think we need some more Avengers to come on too. Just back to back. Let's just get some Avengers going.
I think I've had more participation from the New York Avengers than from any other, really from all of cosplay in general.
Yeah, I think
you guys are so dedicated. You're so nice. You do so much for the community. Not to get off of photo shoots, but you put a lot of photo shoots together too with the group.
And we
guys work so well together. I know there's you've had it's a little bit like Saturday Night Live, where you got people who come on and there's entrances and exits. Sometimes it's not the most pleasant entrance and exit, but
we know how to get our group shots and photos and everything else and get our solos. We can do that stuff. That stuff you can easily do on the fly. And that's what I was gonna say before. Like, people just like, that's just my way of doing shoots. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person that I'm not really into like, let me just, sure, if I'm at a con or something like that.
That's that gets a little bit. It's just
like if I'm at a con, of course I can get a photographer, but it's like, if I'm going to do something on the side that's not a that's not a what's it called? Again, I'm like pushing my hair the wrong way. If I'm on the if I'm doing something that's not a convention, I don't want to waste my time with just doing a solo or anything like that. It's, it's either going to be whether I'm doing a couple thing with Liza and I, or if I'm going to take advantage of it and get a whole group of people together, because that's what I like to do. There's just the camaraderie of, who doesn't like to show off all their friends? You know what I mean? Like, look what we created. Look at the magic. Look at all these characters. Look at the scene that we put together. Like, that's to me, that's just cool. But like, getting your solos, or just getting a group together in general, just you standing there as a group and you just wanting to get photos like that, or people that just want to gather like a large group of people together, and just like, hey, we just have fun, we just do whatever, and like, like kind of just do it on the fly. Like, the majority of the time, like, a lot of people are doing like all that stuff, and I respect all that, and I still throw in that stuff in between. There's still a lot of that stuff in between. But yeah, but if you want to put together some sort of like big group, and you want to have it like organized, and like you want to like have these characters, or like even if it's Star Wars with Hera and Ahsoka, or if it's or you're doing, your favorite Harry Potter characters, or your favorite superheroes from Marvel or DC or anything like that.
Or Firefly.
Firefly,
Which-
yeah,
which
exactly. Or wrestlers, or a group,
Yeah, or
group
if you
of
want to do
WWE
like
superstars
you want
together.
to like reenact a Royal Rumble, which
Oh, let's
take
in a-
30 people.
Yeah, in a subway car too,
I call Sting. I'll probably be 70
I
by the
think
time I get to cosplay him. But
shit, you know what? I think you have like the facial structure for Sting, and then also like,
I have the hair for it.
if you want to put
I mean,
put the black, spray your hair black, please. Oh my
I
god.
would do it. Actually, I might not even have to, because there was, for a time, he had kind of a dishwater sort of head. Like, I would just maybe, if I wet it down, it's probably dark enough. I might, or I get like a.
Oh, you're thinking of, hold on, you're thinking of the more old school thing. Sorry, like
a little. Well, it would have been like
I'm thinking of like dark
beginning of NWO. And
Yeah.
even now, his hair's a little bit lighter now because it's a little.
Oh
thin.
yeah, well, he's not really dying, and he's just going to
He's
conventions.
he's still putting people through caskets.
Shout out to Sting, bro. Like,
69 years old.
I think, well, yeah, he's like 64, but that man has been doing it since the
up there.
80s. And like, like several months ago, just diving onto a table still, it's like, dude, like, that's a man that's like that just still has a lot of love for the game.
Yeah, he has not slowed down one step as time has gone on. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's but yeah, I think I appreciate you for letting me go on a huge tangent.
Oh yeah. I think really, like, to summarize everything, or just to kind of make a point here at the end, that we explain all of this. Anthony explains all this, not to discourage you,
no,
to warn you, to say, okay, here's a big heads up. Like, don't say we didn't tell you this was how it was going to go. Don't be upset about this when you get there and all of these things occur, that you have notes now, you have some cliff notes to go off of, to say, like, okay, like, take what we're giving here, and use this for what you want to do, instead of like going, oh wow, that sounds really tough. I would encourage you to do really tough things. It's cosplay. Like, sure, like, up, level up a little bit.
And not to cut you off, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I do have one more thing that I did forget to add, and I hope this doesn't offend people too much, because I know how it is when it comes to cosplay and having fun, and anyone can cosplay whoever they want, and anyone can cosplay whoever they want. But remember, when you put this shoot together, and this is for any shoot you do, no matter how big the group is, if it's your vision and you want certain characters together, pick the characters that you want, as canon as you want, as creative as you want. It is your shoot. Okay, like, if you have a shoot, because this happens, someone hears that you have a shoot, and they're like, oh, I want to be a part of it, and blah blah blah, and it's like, like I just said, cosplay is fun, it's for everyone. But like, we also realize, like, look, let's be honest, when someone looks like a character, we react like, holy shit, you look like this character, you look like that character. Okay, it's a natural thing. So it's like, so like, please, like, people should, like, if you're on the receiving end of it, please don't be offended if someone doesn't want you in their shoot. and then also if you're the one putting the shoot together, please, like, you can feel bad, but don't let it deter you from putting your vision together. Because if you see because if you have someone who really looks like Anakin Skywalker or something like that, and then you have someone else who, you know, maybe doesn't fit the character as well, but maybe they asked you or whatever, or they could be a part of your friend group. I mean, look, if it's your friend, like, yeah, if you're doing a group of friends, sure, but like I said, if it's your vision, if it's really your vision, do not feel guilty about removing the what's it called, the cosplays for fun thing, the cosplay is for everyone thing. Yes, it is for everyone, but when it's your shoot, this specific cosplay is for your shoot and your vision. So 100% pick the people that fit your vision no matter what. And I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be happy with the results that you envision, because and I'm not just talking about that, with other things too, with photographers, with location, with this and that. Don't let anyone pressure you, because you're gonna leave this, you're gonna see the results and you're gonna regret it. I'm telling you, you're gonna regret it. And because if you do what you want and you ignore the noise and then you see the results, you're gonna feel, you might feel at first like you're gonna be like, what did I do, blah blah blah, but when you see the results, it's what you wanted. It's what you wanted.
That is that's a perfect place to end the show.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good note and a really good spot. We will pick it up, folks, next week, and we will have Anthony back on the show. I can guarantee that. I love it when we can get into the topics like this. It's a fun place to be, and I feel like it's really giving the people who listen to the show a lot of information that they can use, and it's very practical and very helpful to them, and I know that they thank you for it.
Yeah.
So that is where we will end it, folks.
We will end it there. And if you want to find me anywhere, look at my link tree on my Instagram, Anthony Cosjitsu. It's mainly Anthony Cosjitsu for anything. And catch me on Friday and Saturday of New York Comic Con. I will be there as Peter B from this last Spider-Verse movie with the pink robe. My friend KO Fitness, shout out to Kevin, brought back his Spider-Verse shoot again this year. That's going to happen. Liza's going to be with me also as Ahsoka. So everyone needs to come see that as Friday as well. And then Saturday, our New York Fantastic Four group. Everyone look out for us. I'm going to be in the Thing costume, and and then also have Liza with me as Rhea Ripley. Please look for us. It's gonna be phenomenal at this year's New York Comic Con.
It's gonna be an amazing show.
And Scotty, thank you again for having me. Thank you.
Every time and any time. Yes, have a great time at the con. We'll be dropping it out probably right around that time. It's going to be fantastic. It'll be a fantastic show, and I cannot wait to talk to you about how everything went. Friends, this is Scotty B with Anthony Cosjitsu here on a very special episode, and here we are saying bye-bye, everybody.
Yeah.